All right, and we are live. Hi, folks, and welcome to another broadcast in the Funnels and Copywriting Group. Steve Plummer here. I'm joined by my good mate and partner in crime here, who for once doesn't have some Keep memorabilia or merchandise on him, so we can't expect a royalty check this week. Cam Roberts. Hey, Cam, how you doing?
Hey, Steve, how you going? I'm actually waiting for a hat from one of our old mates, Oris. Oris was going to send me one of his hot dog hats. So, Oris, if you're watching this, I'm waiting for the hat, buddy. As soon as you send the hat, I'll wear it on the broadcast.
I'll make it two, and we'll have matching hats one day. Just to
hats. Yeah, there you go, Oris. The opportunity's there for you.
Yeah,
we'll have to tag him in the comments so he sees this and it sends us a couple of hats.
Absolutely. Free advertising for you, Oris.
And hot dogs of the world. Hot dogs of the world, I think it is.
Stop posting those damn hot dog photos, will you? Gosh, they make me hungry. Yeah, keep up the good work, Oris. All right, Cam, so today it is the battle, SEO versus pay-per-click. What is best for your business? Now, Cam, for me, this is one of those, everyone predicting direct mail is dead. Right, it's one of those. It just keeps cycling around in the marketing world. You should be doing SEO, should be doing pay-per-click. Direct mail's dead. Direct mail's not dead. It's one of those ongoing battles. So I'm really looking forward to your perspective today about that. So should we be focusing our time, energy, resources, money into SEO, or is PPC or pay-per-click, is that a better option for businesses? So Cam, looking forward to this one. Over to you.
Okay, cool. So the first one is the fundamental differences of SEO and pay-per-click. So SEO, search engine optimization, and what that means is that someone goes to the Googles of the world or the Bings of the world, types something that they're searching for, and hopefully your website or your blog or your content will show up. And so the intent is there for people that are, in a different buying cycle, or they're in an exploration cycle of what they're looking for. They have a problem, they're going to the internet to hopefully get some of that problem solved or find out more information. It will also happen on maps. So people go to Google Map and they'll type something in if they're looking for a particular cafe, restaurant, like if they're looking for a local mechanic, a local butcher's, they'll go butchers near me on Google Maps. And they'll also use it in things like YouTube. People search in YouTube for YouTube videos. So, those searches in YouTube, and you can optimize your videos to show up for certain search terms as well. There's a lot of DIY videos on YouTube, a lot of cooking videos, a lot of marketing videos. So, all that stuff is really important if you want to show up in those particular categories or any other category for that matter. Now, there's always two parts, Steve, to SEO, and people kind of get caught up on that. They just think it's, putting some magic words on their website and that's going to make a ton of people land on their page. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that. There is a strategy where SEO is concerned. And it's always either on page, what they call on page or off page. And unfortunately, you have to go together. So if you're currently hiring someone, maybe you've looked on Upwork, maybe you've gone to Fiverr, maybe you're hiring a local person that's kind of started their own SEO business, whatever, and you're not using an agency that's experienced in where all of this is concerned. You could be paying for, say, content or blogs that are written for your site, but you're never going to be found. Right. And the reason you won't be found is because maybe a couple of reasons. Maybe the competition or the keyword that you're going after is way too competitive. And so what that means is that there's so many other people also vying for that keyword. You'll never be anywhere on the first 10 pages of Google. Really, really hard. And so that's number one. You need to pick keywords that have good search volume, but not too much competition. And it's the same if you want to rank YouTube videos. What you're looking for is opportunities. You're looking for opportunities where there's good search volume and lower competition, right? When you want to rank YouTube videos as well. And look, there's a ton of tools that help you identify those opportunities.
I was going to say that the KW Finder that we've been through a couple of weeks ago.
KW Finder, Google Keywords, TubeBuddy on YouTube. All of those tools help you find opportunities.
Yeah. So look back, folks. Look back through previous videos here for that one. I think it was about 2 weeks ago from here, Cam, wasn't it? You did a good little tutorial on that. Yeah.
And then the second side of that is, Steve, is for SEO on your website, you need to have backlinks. So, there needs to be other websites, other content on the internet pointing back to the pages that you want to rank for. And that's a really important part of that process as well. So, a lot of people go, oh, no, I don't want, leads from Facebook or leads from social media because they're not as qualified. Well, you can get a lot of SEO traffic that's also not qualified. The only difference is that when you pay for a lead or a click, you can see that in your dashboard, whereas a lot of people don't really see the SEO side of things because they don't really look at their Google Analytics that hard. But if you actually looked at your Google Analytics and you're seeing that 1,000 people visited your site and only 5, a month or a week, whatever it was, and only 2 or 3 people are filling out those forms or contacting you, that's a mass disconnect, right? Your SEO isn't working that effectively because you're getting like 2 people contact you out of 1,000 visits to a site, so it's always a 2-pronged strategy. You always need to go for, creating content that people are looking for. And number 2, to make sure you've got, other content on the internet also pointing back to your assets and back to your website pages. So that's kind of SEO.
Yeah. All right. Actually, just while we're on SEO then, Cam, one of the, I guess, the sticking points for a lot of people is this, SEO is great, but it's going to take me 9, 12 months to actually rank. So there is that speed to market. Is it a longer game? There's always that conundrum, I guess, for business owners. Which way should I go?
Yeah, and so that's one of the things I want to talk about next, but I'll just quickly touch on PPC as well. So pay per click, it's paid advertising. And there's many forms of paid advertising, Steve, and you can do paid advertising on Google, you can do it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the usual channels. But you can also do what's called native advertising. And that's when people are on the internet and they're searching other sites. And then you'll see those ads down the bottom. They look like pictures and they look like content, but you click on it and it goes to a landing page. So that's like, native advertising. So that's another option as well. And then you've got Google Display. You've also got YouTube videos. So there's many different types of paid advertising outside your top 2 of, say, Google search
pre-roll
and
pre-roll.
Well. And
that's those
Facebook.
That's those annoying ads on YouTube on the videos that you just can't get rid of, or it has a countdown timer, 5, 4, 3. Video will play in. Very effective, but very annoying for the watcher, right?
Yeah. But even Spotify, Steve, like, I listen to Spotify and, the ads come on Spotify. That's a PPC. That's a paid ad that stops this. You listen to 4 or 5 songs or half an hour of songs and you get a bunch of little ads come through. So again, that's an example of paid advertising. And like you said at the start of the call today, like, it's not anything new here. But what is instructive is that how do you use it? So, with PPC, it's a strategy based on what media are you using, and then what's the intent? Are you going for higher volumes of leads, or are you going for a higher intent of leads? And the cost between the two are vastly different. So if you're looking for a list building type exercise, and you want to get a whole bunch of people to opt in for a webinar or download a free guide, or fill out a quiz, well, then that's going to be low intent and high volume. But if you're wanting to have a conversation with someone in the next couple of hours, that's going to be very high intent. Now, the higher the intent, the higher the cost to acquire the lead. So a low volume lead might cost you $1.20 per click. You might end up paying, once everyone clicks through and what have you, and the wash of it ends out at $25 per lead once you send 100 or 1,000 leads to your website. However, on the higher intent side, you'll have a lot less leads. So you might only have 4 leads for the whole day or 4 leads for the whole week, but each lead may cost you $250 to have someone fill out that form. So it really is a combination of 2 different strategies, even with PPC.
Yeah, cool. All right, so excuse me, the speed to market one, Cam, SEO is just so expensive, it takes so long, I've got 9 months, 12 months, 15 months, and I'm still on, that's been, that argument has been around for as long as I can remember, almost as long as SEO has been around,
That's right.
So, so what have you got for us, Cam, in terms of that kind of thing? Is it a longer play? Does it take a long time, etc.?
Yeah,
can we put that to bed finally? Can we put that to bed, please?
We can definitely put that to bed. So there's a couple of things. What's really interesting is that if you pick the right keyword and if you do the right strategy, you can get on page 1 in Google in no time, right? However, you've got to think about this. Like, an SEO agency makes their money out of selling SEO. If they solved your problem in the first month, you wouldn't need them anymore, correct? And so, And
No.
so, I'm probably going to get shot down by a lot of agencies here, and we'll get a lot of different comments. But look, the thing is, SEO generally is a longer play. But you and I did uh, an online workshop recently, Steve, together, and I showed all the people on the online workshop
Yeah,
how to
true.
get to page one in
Yeah.
Google in like minutes. It was like 5
Yes.
minute, 10-minute demonstration, right?
Yes,
So
yeah, and for the folks who weren't at the workshop, right, it took you about 30 minutes to set all of that up, and
correct,
you
your
were on
30 minutes.
page one, right? It was
Yep.
just the demonstration only took a couple of minutes, but to set the whole thing up
Yeah.
was only about 30 minutes, right? And you showed it live. Well, there it is
Yep.
on page one of
Yeah.
Google. Yeah,
Yeah. So it is possible to rank on page one of Google in short times using specific strategies. But as far as general and normal SEO, as most people know it, yes, it does take a long time, right?
yeah,
So, if you wanted customers like next week, SEO is not going to do the job for you.
yeah,
It's a longer play unless you're going to put your hand in your pocket every single month, month in, month out. Do it yourself, or get an agency to do it for you, or someone, or a freelancer, or a consultant to do it for you. Like unfortunately, you've really got to do it for 6 months
yeah.
to get any traction. And here's the thing about SEO. Like once you stop SEO, you'll start losing your rankings anyway. So
Mm.
people often, that the argument there is like, oh no, SEO's it's stickability, and you'll do your SEO and you'll stick around. Yeah, well, unfortunately, if you stop your SEO, you'll lose your rankings as well. They're not going to
Yeah,
stay forever.
yeah, yeah. It's a good point because it's one of those ongoing things. Like you've got ongoing costs with a staff member, right? SEO is
Yeah,
one of
it's like
those ongoing costs, and
SEO
it's
is like
not.
going to the
It's
gym, Steve. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
going to the gym
yeah,
and lifting weights.
yeah,
As soon as you stop lifting weights, like you'll maintain your fitness for a little while, then you drop off again.
yeah,
Like you'll lose all
yeah.
your fitness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not trying to discredit SEO here in
No,
any
not
way,
at all.
shape, or form, but that is the market reality, right, of it. And
Yeah.
I will make a comment too, Cam. That strategy you showed at the workshop was we had a lot of really experienced business owners and marketers on there, and they were just going, "Oh, what?"
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very jaw dropping for them. So yeah, that was a really nice one. I like that.
Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, so absolutely right. SEO, it does have a part to play in where marketing is concerned and finding clients and talking to people. However, it is a longer play, and you do have to put your money into it, and you do have to keep doing it like you keep going to the gym.
yeah,
Conversely, on the other side of that coin is PPC, pay per click, paid advertising. Done well can find you people to talk to in a very, very short time. So, once the ad goes live, it's like literally an hour or two away before you could be talking to your next
mm,
prospect.
mm,
And so you've got to weigh that up. Obviously, a cost difference with that as well.
mm.
So you're going to be paying a lot more for paid advertising. But again, it's a shorter win. You might have to go through even more people. So SEO might get you more qualified leads filling out your web forms, but pay per click and paid advertising will get you more people filling out web forms and just more people through your funnels. So,
Well,
um,
yeah, and let's not, Cam, let's not sugarcoat this too, and not forget test and measure. Just because you put an ad up doesn't mean it's going to work. And
correct,
usually things don't work first time round, right? It often has to be a 10th or an 11th iteration before it really starts to take off. So, I guess to bring balance to that SEO takes a long time. Pay per click as well can have its lead time before you get it right. That's just the
correct.
reality.
Yeah,
Some people might be really good to get it done just like that, but in our experience, Cam, sometimes it happens that way, but quite often it doesn't, right? And that is
yeah.
just marketing.
That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's all about testing and measuring. And
yeah,
there's no better way to test and measure than to use what's called an inbound methodology if you're going to do any type of
yeah,
SEO. And so the inbound methodology is if you're going to create content for your website, and just say maybe you're a local fitness business and you're going to create articles based on, keeping healthy and fitness and all of that. The problem is when people create their content, they don't create it relating to anything else that they're also creating. And so if I ran a fitness business, I wouldn't write about personal training this month and then yoga the next month and then nutrition the next month and then Pilates the next month. And I've got like 4 or 5 articles, but none of them relate to one another because Google's coming along to my site and going, okay, well, someone just searched for yoga. What's more important? Which page or which website should I rank first? Website A or business A that's got one yoga article, or should I give the preference to website B, which has got one yoga article and 5 little sub articles of yoga also?
mm,
And so the inbound marketing methodology is creating a pillar post, which is usually around 1,500 words, 2,500 words. So it's fairly heavy in words and content. You can add some videos there, make it interactive, embed a podcast, whatever you can to make it more multimedia friendly. And then after you've created your pillar posts, you create what's called topic clusters. And they're smaller pieces of content that point back to the main piece of content. And they're also on the same topic. So if, again, we use the yoga one as an example, it might be, the best yoga classes for over 40s might be the pillar post. But the topic cluster might be what an over 40 needs to bring to a yoga class, or the hot yoga classes suitable for over 40s.
Or what yoga pose not to do if you're over 40.
Kind of thing. Yeah, right. That's right. How not to get injured over 40 doing yoga poses, right? But again, all of that is really, really subtopics of the main over 40s yoga topic. And so that's a really good example of using inbound marketing methodology to improve your chances of being ranked for that particular keyword phrase that you want to go after.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Cam, what about PPC content marketing? What have you got to share around that? And again, I'm just mindful of our time. We just seem to tend to, we always said this about 6 or 7, 10 minutes, but we always dive into it more. So let's keep moving. The best content marketing for PPC.
Yeah, so look, we're almost there, almost at the finish line, but a lot of people make the biggest mistake when they do paid advertising by advertising to a cold audience, right? Now, I don't know if you've ever exercised cold, Steve, on a cold winter's morning and you've not warmed up, but it's really hard to get going, right?
Yeah, it makes me grumpy.
Makes you grumpy? Well, I just find it takes me a long time, right, to get warmed up, on a cold morning. It's actually the same with your audiences. Like, it's the same with your advertising. If you go in cold to a cold audience, they've never seen your business before, they don't know your product or service, they don't know, what it is that it's not clear on what the problem is that you solve, all of those things, it's going to lead to a lesser lead quality, okay? So one of the best strategies that you can do with your paid advertising is a 2-step strategy. So it's not a 1-step strategy of throwing up an ad and expecting people to see that ad, opt in, and then for them to be an ideal buyer and someone to talk to and convert into a customer. What you want to do is you want to pepper them or saute them or, sauce them or sprinkle them with additional content up front. And so that content is value-based content. So you actually use content and pay for content. So that could be in the way of a video, for instance, on YouTube, or a video on Facebook, and people actually watch and engage with the video. Then after you've created content that's engaging, that you paid for, then you run your advertising based on the behavior of how they've interacted with your content. So for instance, with Facebook, you can run a remarketing campaign based on how much of a video that someone's watched of your content that you put up in front of them in the first place.
Yeah. And so if they've watched, the first 3 minutes, they might get X particular follow-up. If they've watched 9 minutes of it, they'll get a different one, right? To align with how far along the journey they are. Yeah.
Yeah. And when we look at like the inbound marketing methodology and we go back to that yoga article, you could take that yoga article, you could write a little bit of a snippet about it on your Facebook page, turn that into a post, boost that post or run some paid advertising to that post based on engagement. And then the same thing, when people engage with that ad, when they click with that ad, then you can do some remarketing and show them the offer of, hey, join up for Pilates now, right? Using a remarketing ad. So it's a really effective way of doing 2 things, Steve. Number 1, warming up your audience, but number 2, keeping your costs down, because the people who are clicking the second time around are much more likely to take action because they've seen your content at the very first step.
Yeah, cool. All right, Cam. Let's leave it there. It's been a really great discussion, as it always is. Cam, if someone wants some help with SEO or with pay-per-click ads, or in fact anything to do, with any of that kind of marketing agency kind of work, what have you got?
Yeah, look, they can just head to the bottom of this video wherever you're watching, on Facebook, YouTube, whatever you're doing. Have a look in the descriptions below. Go to my website, camroberts.com.au, if you want some coaching or consulting. If you're after professional done-for-you services, get my agency to do it for you. Go to bubblegummarketing.com and just check out the links in the comments, and we'll look after you from there.
All righty. And Oris, don't forget the caps.
Caps next week, Oris. We're looking forward to the hot dog caps.
Yeah.
What a big hot dog.
Look forward to a hot dog as well at some point in the future. All right, Cam, that's a wrap. We'll leave it there. Thanks for joining us again, folks, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Steve. Bye, everyone.